Hello and welcome to round 3 of the Zafiralis All Rounder Championship in Live for Speed tonight at Rockingham Historic without the chicane, which is the first time we've ever run this combination in Live for Speed. It's not the first time we've seen the Camera JGT though. That's been with us once before, and that is going to be the car that we use tonight around this track. Let's take a look at the action that is scheduled for you this evening. We're going to be at the 3.7 kilometre, 2.3 mile historic circuit at Rockingham without that chicane, which is going to hopefully prevent a few incidents around there. We're going to get a 23 lap race, which is going to be about 40 to 45 minutes of action tonight. And we've had a qualifying session which has painted an interesting picture ahead of tonight's race. Before we get to that though, let's look at the Camera JGT by Ivan CSX in collaboration with Martin 18 and Jake Blasted. 3.6 litre flat 6 rear wheel drive configuration and weighing in at just over a ton with 300 brake horsepower. So a beast around the circuit that is Rockingham here in Live for Speed. We are 3 rounds into the championship. We are at the end of Rockingham. We will see a new track environment next month out for the second sort of trio of races that we get here on the road, dirt and slick combination tyres in Live for Speed. And we'll repeat that until the end of the year. 12 rounds in total, once a month, showcasing 4 of the environments in Live for Speed as chosen by, I assume, the winner of tonight's race for the next one. So that'll be interesting to see where we end up in a month's time in April. Let's have a look at the qualifying and see how that has ended up. It's Sufor on the top step with a 1:21.72, 4/10 clear of Dodislav for the winners team. Kirill there in P3 with Roni, Thamuli, Lorenzo, Madjester, Unite, Matty and Mouseman rounding out your top 10. Then we've got Nozzle, Tim DC, Asker, Martin Kapal, Owen, Magic, Sahan, Civil Cop, Yuzek and Danny. 19 qualifiers for round 3 of the championship. Speaking of the championship, let's take a look at the all-important championship standings. Remember, there are prizes on offer for the drivers in this standing. So, it's Thamuli leading the way ahead of Unite and Roni, your top 3 in the Zafiralis All Rounder Championship Season 2 Drivers' Championship. Let's take a look at the grid and get going for the race with Sufor on pole position. The grid is set, the drivers are ready, the lights are coming on, and we are getting ready for 23 epic laps. We are green, and we have 13 starters tonight, so a nice compact race, and it's a bad start for Mouseman. He's already lost a ton of positions already at the back. So a bad start for Mouseman, but Sufor starts the way he means to continue at the very front, leading our pack of rear-wheel drive monsters down towards turn 1. And through this tight and twisty chicane at speed, Dodislav into the tyres, and that's going to cost him, if not pride, it might cost him a bit of time as well if the car misbehaves as a result of that. We've got side-by-side action. That is Unite and Thamuli side-by-side coming up to Gracelands as we head straight down to Tarzan. That's Thamuli off on the gravel, and Asker trying to get involved as well. Unite on the inside now, and still side by side. Actually, no, Thamuli has got the edge on him up towards the brook section. Sufor leads ahead of Dodislav and Kirill, with the race green duo of Roni and Lorenzo getting slightly dropped at this stage as we're already at the Gretton hairpin to conclude the infield of lap number 1 of 23 here. So a short and snappy lap. As we head up to start finish for the first time. And there we go, Sufor, Dodislav, Kirill, side by side, Lorenzo and Madjester. And there is Mouseman still recovering at the back. But yeah, Madjester's got the inside line on Lorenzo as we head up to the Dean hairpin once again. Sorry, Madjester on the outside now. And that is the inside for the chicane. As these two using liveries we don't normally see. Lorenzo in the yellow, Madjester in the green and red. As Thamuli is already making a move. We've got a car off in the background. It's Dodislav and Mouseman now at the back. But what's happened to Dodislav? Dodislav looks like he's been into the pits or something, or has he been off? I think he must have been into the wall. But yeah, Dodislav all the way at the back. Not sure what happened there. Side by side through the first corner, it looked like, but I think it's Kirill with a slight advantage now over Roni. But something has happened to Dodislav there. Kirill does have a bit of damage on the front right of his car, and appears to be getting dropped by Sufor. Dodislav just spun out. He didn't. He's hit the tyres at the chicane as Dodislav, and has spun out on lap 2. So that's what's dropped him from P2 all the way to the back. But the momentum is certainly with Lorenzo at this stage of the race. He is chasing Roni down, and let's get an onboard. There we go. The drivers can cut. Oh, as Lorenzo hits the wall as well. That's slowed him down quite a lot. That's allowed Thamuli then to get alongside. And Majesta is going to have a look up the inside. Is he? Yeah, he's got a slight overlap there. And United's behind as well as Asker. So 4 of them are all coming down to Tarzan all together. Oh, and there we go. Unite into Asker. And who is that spinning around? That's Majesta spinning around. And Thamuli somehow has escaped completely unscathed. And we've got a complete change in the order. So Thamuli in the right place at the right time there. As we've got Nozzle on the grass just before the hairpin. Gets back on the track, and that's Martin Kapal that sneaks through just ahead of him. Martin gaining a lot of places there as a result of the drivers spinning out, crashing out at the beginning of lap 3. And it does sound good, this car. We've got a nice sounding mod here in the Camera JGT. As Magic is having a look at the inside of Nozzle over start-finish line. Nozzle straight back into the slipstream. And pulls out again as we head into this chicane. And this is a very, very fast chicane. You don't want to go in side by side, but they are through cleanly. And that's Mouseman in the background, recovering from the back up to P9. And potentially has a move. Oh, as Martin Kapal spears off stage right and into... He's managed to find a marshal's post in the middle of the grass. That's somewhat unfortunate. And that's completely ruined his chances in this race. What a random position for a marshal's post, and Martin has found it with the front of his car. So, slightly unfortunate that. Good job there were tyres in front of it, I suppose. Here we have Lorenzo, currently P4. That's Thamuli just behind him, as Majesta has just made it through on Mouseman. Majesta there in the green and red. Mouseman losing a place, although it looks like he's got a good slipstream here. And he goes to the outside. Is he going to cut back to the inside? No, he's committed to the outside line. And that's going to become the inside. Surely Mouseman's going to do the switch back here. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't. No, he's sitting behind. That's unusual. The Mouseman of years gone by would have totally gone for that. But anyway, he's subdued in his old age as Mouseman. As Majesta is the one on the charge. Majesta looking up the back of Magic here. And that's Nozzle just going through shot. Oh, who's that off? Oh, it was Nozzle off on the grass. Majesta getting on the brakes, being careful not to drive into the back of Magic, but so far so good. We head down to the Brook chicane once again. And is it going to be a move from Majesta? Well, he's certainly going to have a look. It's a half move. It's not a full commitment, but yeah, he's going to get out dragged out of the corner by Magic. And now Mouseman's got to run. And he's surely got to go for it this time. Maybe he's going to the outside again. No. Thinking about it, Majesta defends. Majesta has the measure of Mouseman for now, but Mouseman, has he got the run to go for the move into the chicane? No, once again, that just has the better of him. Oh, not a good run through there from Magic, and that's going to allow Majesta surely this time to get through. Yes, it does, as he runs wide and over the grass. But at the front, we've got these two closing down, Sufor and Kirill. Both getting quite close to each other. And out of Tarzan comes Roni, Lorenzo, closely followed by Thamuli. So these three getting close as well. There's definitely some packs forming. Nozzle is in a bit of a buffer because the three behind him are really fighting hard. Majesta leading Magic now. And Mouseman up to P9 from the back. And Dodislav on a bit of a recovery as well. Lorenzo has spun round at the chicane. That's Gretton hairpin. Oh, and he's got to be careful how he rejoins here. And he's going to rejoin behind Dodislav. That's down to P11. Sorry, P10 now for Lorenzo. Not the way he would wanted this race to go after how it started. Kirill has the fastest lap, 6/10 behind Dufour. Dufour demolishes those poles at the first corner. And Mouseman has still not managed to find a way through Magic and Majesta. He is completely boxed in behind those guys. Just cannot overtake them on the oval. Can't seem to find a way through, as the gap between Sufor and Kirill goes up by a 1/10.5 through the first sector. Magic's had a bad exit out of Kirby, and that's allowed Mouseman to have a go, but no, he hasn't done it. And Dodislav's going to try and go around the outside and wants to mow some grass instead. So Dodislav caught up to the back of his teammate very, very quickly. Oh, Mouseman is pulling over, presumably to let his teammate through, but I'm not sure why. Unusual. Well, he must have felt like he crowded Dodislav off the road to have done that. But anyway, Mouseman letting his teammate through to hunt down Magic. 2-4 leads. A 1 second gap now back to Kirill. And here's Thamuli. And coming around the final corner, it's Majesta versus Nozzle. He's on the inside. He's made up good time here. The cars behind him have completely dropped off. And Majesta is through and up into P5 for now. But what will Nozzle have to say about that? Surely not side by side into the first chicane. There's contact. Nozzle has pushed him wide. It's going to be dodgy. Oh, Nozzle. That's a punt to pass if I ever saw one. And that's going to drop Majesta possibly into the clutches of Magic. But Nozzle, that was a cheeky move. Majesta will be particularly unhappy with that, I'm sure. Not the place to be sending somebody into a tank slapper, because there is an ugly, ugly chicane that will meet anybody that's out of shape. And Unite, a driver we haven't really even mentioned so far in this race, barely it feels like, is at the back battling with Arska now at Tarzan. Arska in the blue, Unite in the black and white machine. And Arska is in the lead of that battle for now. And the gap at the front, Sufor must have made an error because he's now pulling away, but the gap was down to just under half a second. And now it's up to 1.5 seconds. So Sufor must have made an error that he's now recovering from. And Thamuli here is having, well, just a fabulous day out, really. Managed to avoid the Schmozzle in the middle of the pack and has found a comfortable place in the middle of this race. 5 seconds to P2 and about, well, what's that, 3 or 4 seconds behind, as we've got Unite going for a move on the inside of Arska up to the first corner. Oh, we've got a car off just out of the chicane. Dodislav again into the chicane. You'd think he'd learn. He really likes to slam into that chicane, doesn't he? That's at least the second time he's done that this race. And that's a disaster for him. Arska back through on Unite into Gracelands. And we've got Majesta trying to look around Nozzle. So he's come back for more. He's come back for revenge. After Nozzle pushed him wide into the chicane. Maybe Manchester can return the favour. Yeah, a bit of a punt out of the Gretton hairpin. Showing Nozzle that he's back. And this time, he is not going to be messing around. Fastest lap of the race by Kirill, a 1:22.5. Turning the screws on Sufor once again. The gap to the lead down to 0.8 of a second as we go across start-finish side by side. Neck and neck, nothing between them. And Nozzle this time is in exactly the same position he was on the previous lap. And, well, doesn't give Manchester the push this time. And Manchester is a lot closer and, well, he's going to try and find somewhere to pounce, but it's not going to be out of Kirby. Let's see where he thinks about going for the move. Well, it's not going to be on the outside of Gracelands, is it? Let's be honest. What about Tarzan? Outside again. Is it going to be a switchback? Yes, it is. Manchester to the inside of Tarzan. Can't quite see it from this camera angle, but it looks like it's clean. And he's through. Up to P5 for Mad Jester. But look at this. It's closed down to under half a second once again. Kirill does have a bit of damage on that pink machine. But Sufor is absolutely in trouble here. As we've got a three-way battle for last place. This is unusual. We don't tend to see this, especially with three highly talented cars. This is a really stacked field today. Asker in the blue at the back. Dodislav recovering again in the black machine, and Unite leading. And this is the fight for P10 in a 12-car race that we have currently. And it looks like Dodislav has a run. And he's already passed, going over start-finish. What has Unite got to say about that, I wonder? Well, absolutely nothing at the moment. Not even an attempt of getting back in the slipstream for Unite. But enough of that, we have to pay attention to the very front, because the gap between Kirill and Sufor is, well, I was going to say closer than ever, but actually the gap's going up again. 69 hundredths. Bit of a tank slapper for Kirill. And the pink machine with the purple flag means that he is on a charge. He's got the fastest lap of the race so far. Sufor is up and down a little bit here, pace-wise. Does sound good, this thing. Only 300 horsepower. Looks a lot faster maybe than it is, but the driver's seemingly enjoying it. Can definitely get the rear out if you want to, but it seems fairly stable around the lap, especially here at Rockingham. As Nozzle potentially has a slipstream here. I don't know if he's quite close enough to make a move, but he's taking the tightest line possible, taking all the apron on the run to start finish. Manchester just about hanging on. Absolutely nothing to choose between them over start finish. But Nozzle, for now, is not close enough to make a return move on Manchester as they go through the chicane. And Nozzle takes an enormous amount of the curb. On my other screen here, he went through the chicane. That was super close, and he's got a lot of damage now on the front right. As Kirill looked like he was going to be close for a move, but he's had a wobble at Tarzan, and the drivers are just taking more and more liberties through the chicane. It almost makes me wonder whether we needed the first chicane on the oval back to slow the cars down, really, going into there. Because it's a really, really dangerous chicane. As Lorenzo and Magic are now having a fight up the school straight. Lorenzo in the yellow, Magic in the white and blue. And it's Lorenzo up the inside. And he's done it. Blocks the apex, or blocks the exit nicely. Magic has nothing to do. And job done. Lorenzo up to P9. Or P8 rather. Vladislav and Unite have separated a little bit now, so our attention can go back to our two at the front. It's Kirill versus Sufor. But again, he's dropped a wheel on the grass. He needs to focus up. He needs to make sure he doesn't make any more mistakes, because he is running out of time. We're over halfway through this race now. 10 laps to go at the end of this one. Zafiralis will start to sweat. There's no doubt about it. Kirill has the pace on him. But at this stage of the race, the consistency is not with Kirill, it is with Zafiralis. Zafiralis just needs to keep putting these laps in and just hoping that Kirill can't put one together. But for now, so far so good for Zafiralis. And a nice exit once again, which will neutralise any sort of attack that Kirill can put on this lap. Muli is 7 seconds behind, and that gap to the front doesn't look like it's coming down. However, the gap to Roni is just 3.6 seconds now, so is the Muli's podium opportunity in threat here by Roni? We'll have to wait and see. Jester is 7 seconds off the back of Roni, and Nozzle then has started to open that gap up to Mouseman. Or rather, the gap between Jester and Nozzle has opened up quite a bit, I should say, after Nozzle hit the tyre stack. So potentially Mouseman could be on for a P6 here after being at the back after the first corner. As they head through the first chicane once again, and it looks like someone else has been through the tyres. Tyre stacks bouncing all up and down the road. And if I had to bet, I'd say it would be Nozzle. Nozzle has been through there plenty of times this race already. The gap at the front is 0.7 of a second still between Zafiralis and Kirill. No movement really. Second, there's a move going on. You'll be the first to see it. As Jester has definitely closed up to the back of Roni. This is more likely to yield fruit before anything else. As we ride on board the nose cam of Jester. Let's see how he works. Roni, nice on the brakes and very nice exit for Jester. That's superb. He's going to have a slipstream easily here, and this could be P4 into turn 1. Joe Holmes style braking that. And he's going to get him even before start finish, is he? Yeah, he's down to the inside. Roni, no defence, slightly ahead at start finish. Fastest lap for Jester. There you go. That's how good of an exit that was. And he's through. Roni will surely think about making a move back. Who's going to be on the brakes first? Oh, braking at the same time. Jester wide. This could be bad. Yeah, he clips the wall. Damage to the right side. And unfortunately, he's going to lose the place again to Nozzle and maybe even to Mouseman here. Yeah, Mouseman sends it. And Lorenzo's down 3 places. Disastrous entry into the chicane. Really punishes a driver, that. Lorenzo's going to make quick work of Mouseman again. Back up to P6. Oh, sorry, Jester, not Lorenzo. My mistake. So used to seeing Lorenzo driving in these colours. Jester there. Back up to P6. Ahead of Mouseman. And he'll be frustrated with that, but he'll know he's got the pace under him to try and get back up to P4 before the end. That's so easy to gain time, but so easy to lose it again around here. If you take too many liberties with track limits, those tyres will punish you. As out of the final corner comes Nozzle, chasing down his teammate, Roni. Not quite enough in the slipstream to make a move here. And Jester's going to be really frustrated that he's got to close all that gap back down again. And you can just see Nozzle was slowly catching through between turn 1 and the chicane. But not close enough to make a move. Nice exit from Kirby for Nozzle. Let's see what happens through Gracelands. Yeah, Roni, nice on the entry and a good exit. So these two fairly evenly matched at this stage. But here then is our race leader, and Kirill following in hot pursuit. 0.6 still the gap. And it's a wonder really, because the gap's been going up and down all the time. I wonder why Kirill can't make the move. United's trying to make a move here on Magic on the school straight, and it's not going to happen. Magic keeps the place for now. And United's going to have to find somewhere else to do the job. Jester is being hounded by Mouseman now, so instead of going forwards, he's potentially looking at going backwards here. But Mouseman's super wide on the oval. He's not even going to get close enough for a move into turn 1. Sorry, turn 2. No, he's so far back, he's not going to be following anyone. Well, not going to be going for a move through there. As Unite is having another go on the inside on Magic. Down onto the apron. Let's see, will Magic fancy having a return? No, he does not. He does the sensible thing and backs out of it. And maybe this will be... Nope, he backs out again. So he's content with Unite having made that move, as the Mooley picks up the fastest lap amidst all the action that's going on elsewhere. The Mooley's just lapping on his own, improving his pace as he can. And look at that. Kirilla's made another mistake. He's lost 0.6 of a second on this lap to Sufor, and it looks like it happened at the chicane. But yeah, this is desperate times now for Kirill. He's had so many opportunities to close up to the back of Sufor, but as soon as he gets within half a second, he just cannot bridge the gap. Which, oh, and he's hit the wall again, taking too much speed through that first chicane. And look at the the right front now. It's definitely bent out of shape, and that is going to be very difficult now to close that gap again. Sufor can potentially start to relax now. Yeah, Kirill has not done himself any favours there. And yeah, well, we're into sort of a bit of a stalemate now. Nobody's really close to anyone else. So let's show you a bit of Thamuli on board instead. Thamuli is bringing us his onboard view, as he does in so many races. Much appreciated. If you want to get your stream on the stream, you can do by becoming a Sim Broadcast supporter. simbroadcasts.tv/supporters for all the information on how to join. But yeah, Thamuli looking like he's going to pick up a podium here today, if he can keep it going. P3 looks a sure bet for now. But you never want to say that, because anything can happen. And it often does. As Manchester now is closing up to the back of Nozzle again. I don't know how many times I've had to say that tonight, but it's happening again. And this time, can he make it stick? Had to work hard to close this gap up again. And not far ahead of Nozzle is Roni. Oh, and Nozzle yet again through the tyre stacks, pelting one in the direction of Manchester. Sooner or later, his luck is going to run out. It has to. And there we go. He's off onto the gravel. Commentator's curse. Off he goes. Nozzle has been dispatched by the racing gods. Nearly took Manchester with it. But seriously, you can't keep cutting and playing dice, because it will bite you. And I'm quite proud of that one. I called it quite early, but there we are. Nozzle is back now down with Lorenzo, his teammate. Manchester is promoted to try and fight with Roni. But my goodness me, that was close with Nozzle and Manchester there. But Manchester, I'm sure, will be quite thankful to see the back of Nozzle after everything that's gone on in this race. Or maybe he's forgotten about him already and is just focusing on the back of Roni. Take a lot of speed through that. And out of Kirby and up towards Gracelands, we start to see that Manchester is closing the gap. Mouseman off the track again in the background. and the gap between Roney and Manchester was a second there or thereabouts at the previous sector line. That's definitely gone down. Unite's had a spin and has lost yet more time to everybody, actually. He's dropped down behind Magic and Asker. 2-4 leads now by 4.5 seconds. What is Kirill doing in this race? He must have ruined his car the last time he made contact with the chicane, but Sufor has not got one but two hands on the winner's trophy here so far tonight, and it doesn't look like anybody can challenge him except himself if he makes an error. But Kirill, well, bit of an own goal that. He had the pace certainly to catch and overtake Sufor, but just not the consistency tonight necessary to overthrow a rising star in Live for Speed. Sufor is definitely showing his worth and his muscle. Mooley's having a solid race as well, and he only needs to gain, well, 5 or 6 seconds. In fact, 5 or 6 seconds on Kirill. It might be possible given the rate that Kirill is dropping speed in this race. And another close battle in the 2 laps we've got left after this one as Mouseman goes wide again. I keep saying that. Out of Kirby, Mouseman decides the track is about 5 metres wider than it actually is. Manchester here with a shot at P4 in this race. We've said it time and time again. Can he actually execute the move and keep the position? Yeah, a little bit of over-rotation through the right-hander at Brook. Let's see how his exit is. Doesn't use all the road on the outside there. Turns in the middle of the road, giving away a bit of time. Several attempts at the apex, and not the cleanest of exits, and that's just going to allow Roney to maintain the gap. You've got to be much, much tighter with your lines. Use all the space available, carry as much momentum as you can through these corners in order to close the gap like that down. And it just all comes with experience which these drivers are gaining all the time. And always run wide, and he's pitched the car into a roll, and it's game over surely for Manchester. Just a disastrous chicane again. And just as I credit him with gaining experience, he rolls the car. Well, that's certainly an experience, but not one he would have been wanting to gain from this race. As Lorenzo has a run on Nozzle. Let's see if he can make a move, and he does. Through on his teammate. So again, Nozzle giving up places. And Magic's had a spin as well, uncharacteristic. And who's that off in the background? Manchester again. Oh dear. Mouseman's also just had a spin out of Gracelands. In fact, where is he? No, he's had a spin out of Brook. And United's parked in the pit lane, so everything is going wrong here on the final lap for everybody. There is no exception other than Sufor, really. Mouseman risking being caught in the dying laps by Lorenzo and Nozzle. But let's give credit where credit's due. Sufor has driven an excellent race. Had a psychological challenge, let's say, from Kirill. One which fizzled away after Kirill repeatedly got the first chicane wrong. I hear in my ear, Chris is telling me that Nozzle's gone into the tyre stacks again, but has gone right over the top of them this time. So, just doesn't learn and is just continuing to crash into the first chicane. But enough of that, because someone that's done a perfect race is Sufor, and he's already celebrating. He's off the gas. He's done. Crosses start finish. Manchester's waiting as well. He doesn't want to do another lap. Manchester finishing a lap down. Kirill, P2. What could have been, though? I think that could have been potentially better than that. Thamuli will take P3. 10 seconds back in the end. And then we wait to see who's going to finish P4. At the moment, it looks like it's going to be Roney. And remarkably, having dropped to the back after the first corner, Mouseman is going to take P5 in this race with his own set of problems. Lorenzo, my, should have been better than that. P6. Nozzle will finish P7. That's impressive given the amount of times he's crashed into tyre stacks and walls in this race. Dolislav, well, his race went from bad to worse and then somehow managed to recover to P8. Oscar, well, didn't really have a race to talk about, really. Magic crossing the line. And yeah, as we mentioned, Majesta finishing a lap down. That is everybody. And we have 11 finishes out of 13 starters. DNFs for Unite in the end and Martin Kapal. But your winner tonight is Sufor. A great drive there in 31 minutes and 50 seconds ahead of Kirill, Thamuli and Roni. Best of the rest with Mouseman, Lorenzo, Nozzle, Dodislav, Asker, Magic and Majesta, your 11 finishers in round 3 of the Zafiralis All Rounder Championship for 2025. That's a wrap for Rockium, which means we can move on to a different racing environment next time out, which is going to be in April. April the 7th will see the return of road tyres at an environment and track to be confirmed after tonight's action. We have lots and lots of stuff coming up on our channel over the next few weeks. The next few nights, in fact. I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, on the channel tomorrow night, we're going to have the return of Roni's Tuesday fun race. And that'll be coming your way at 7 o'clock in the evening. So we can bring up the graphic for that in just a second's time. We're going to be at the Sidus Ring with the XRT. And yeah, that's live on our channel tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So we hope you can join us for that. That should be pretty popular. The last time the Sidus Ring was used, we had pretty much a full grid. So we expect much the same again. And then on Sunday night, it's the return of E-Challenge, of course. We are going to see the drivers back for the third round of the championship at the Portland E-Prix circuit. That's going to be at 5:45 on Sunday, the 9th of March. We hope we can see you there. But from all of us here at Sim Broadcast, this has been round number 3 of the Zafiralis All Rounder Championship in Live for Speed. We'll be back in April for more. So yeah, stay tuned. You can check out our calendar at simbroadcasts.tv/calendar for all the action that we're covering here in LFS. And from all of us here, have a great evening. We'll see you next time. Good night.